We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, that's the first sentence in the preamble of the United States Declaration of Independence. And in fact, it's the one that everyone knows and everyone expects as a birthright. But can government make everyone happy? And how do we learn to be happier and in the process build the life that we want? With me now, Harvard professor, Atlantic columnist, author of the new book, Build the Life That You Want, Arthur Brooks, the co-author. So, Arthur, the premise that the road at the end of the life that we build, is the premise that at the end of this road is the happiness that we seek?
Not really. What the promise from the Declaration of Independence is the pursuit of happiness. We have the right to pursue our happiness. And this is the important thing to keep in mind. Everybody wants to be happy. But what we really can get is happier. Happiness is not a destination, it's a direction. And the way that people can get happier is by understanding the basic science of what happiness is all about. And that's what this book is about. I've dedicated my life to studying the science of happiness, and Oprah and we teamed up to bring it to an audience of millions of people. And I'm delighted because people are reading this all over the place and telling us that they're actually getting happier on the basis of knowledge and action in their lives.
Maybe we can hand them out at subway stations and everyone read them and get on the train, and then, we can have an immediate impact. But here's one thing. The notion of being happy, I feel, is a recent thing for human beings, right? I mean, not long ago, our main goal was to go out and find food, find a safe place to sleep, and not be food for some other species. Is the obsession, though, with happiness in a way making us sadder?
Well, it can be, because when we don't have any way forward, when we feel like we must be ultimately blissful and we're not, then that becomes a real source of frustration. But when we understand what it really is, which is not a feeling, this is very important. This is one of the biggest mistakes that my students make is thinking that that happiness is a nice feeling. It's not. Feelings are just evidence of happiness. When we understand that it's a combination of enjoyment of your life, satisfaction with your accomplishments, finding meaning in your life, and each one of these can be kind of a pursuit in and of itself. And that's not frustrating at all. That's an incredible adventure. It's changed my life to understand the science on how to do just that.
I know there's a section in the first part of the book with your mother-in-law, and she told you that as she aged, she learned the secret of getting happier. So you talked earlier about this being a journey. How much of it ultimately just always comes down to the individual?
Yeah, well, a lot of it, because you have to make the decision to live in a responsible way. You have to design your habits. You have to pursue the habits of the happiest people. And I'll tell you what they are, by the way. It's pretty simple stuff. The happiest people have kind of a happiness 401k plan. They have a happiness pension plan where they're investing every day in their faith and their family life and their friendships and serving other people with their work. Faith, family, friends, and work. Those are the big four. And the people who are less happy are simply going in other directions. They're trying to satisfy themselves, looking at social media, wasting their time. No, faith, family, friends, and work. That's it.
You know, I mean, I'm writing these down as you say it, and there's a chart that really, I guess I'm getting older, right? So there's this chart that shows who we spend time with as we age, right? And we have time, we have friends, family, work, all the things you just described. And then we get 30, 40, and everyone else fades. And we're up there alone, completely alone. So does that mean we can't be happy as we get older, that we can't check any of these boxes except maybe faith?
Well, what we find is that for sure, if we have a good and healthy relationship with the divine, with God, with our sense of faith or life philosophy, if we're not particularly religious, I'm a Christian, it's the most important thing in my life, but there are other ways to do it for sure. But then family life is critically important. You find the people who have good family relationships, they're not alone at the end of life. On the contrary, if they have strong marriages and a good relationship with their adult kids, I mean, making families is critically important. One of the reasons that America is in a happiness slump is because people are getting married less and having fewer kids. It's not rocket science. Then, of course, there's friendship. And I'm not talking about the deal friends at work. I'm talking about the real friends who are useless, but you put in the time to get to know. Those can be with you for literally the rest of your life. And when you're not working anymore, all the better. You can spend time with your real friends.
Arthur, great stuff. I'm going to get the book today. Thank you so much, my friend. I love it. Thank you.
Thanks. I wrote it for you, man. Thanks.
All right, thanks.